Well, I did my little response to Adam's NOGA review, and I talked a little bit about this cheap copy of a NOGA arm. And I say I'm pretty sure I got this from Warco, and I was having a little play with it last night, and did a little bit of dismantling, really to just see how they'd constructed the mechanism, you know, and did a little bit of fettling on one bit of it, and made quite an improvement in the way it works. So I just thought I'd show you a couple of the simple things. So if I turn this over this way, there was a washer between the two halves, which didn't seem to be making the this centre joint lock up very well. But more importantly, this is one of the wedges. See if we can get some. Okay, yeah, you can see the surface on this wedge, and I've just lightly dressed it with the diamond file. If you look at the other side, which I haven't touched yet, let's see if we can. You know, this is quite a rough surface. In fact, you might even be able to hear the noise. And it's not just, you know, where it's rubbed. I mean, it almost looks as if it's been sawn rather than machined. And if I pull this little joint out and you have a peer down into the end, you can see the end of the push rod that locks up the end. And I've likewise dressed that. So let's see if I can do the same to this other end. So I just need to go and get a scriber and a pair of pliers. Okay, let's I don't know if you can see in here, but just there is the end of a wire circlip. So if I push the cap on, hopefully I'll better push on the end of the circlip and slide it round. Okay, perhaps it doesn't want to go in that direction. Let's try the other end. There we go, we've got the end of the circlip started up. We can pull it through and then unhook the circlip out of the groove. And now we've got the end off. And there's the operating rod, and let's bring you in again, and you can see the finish on the end there's really quite poor. So this has got some fairly nasty smelly lubricant on it, so let's give it a wipe down. I've got my diamond lap here, and I'm just going to smooth out the end. Now this is somewhat hardened. I'm just rounding over that final edge slightly. So that's a way better finish on there. And I'm going to do the same thing on here, but I will just give this a wipe with a file first to get rid of the paint, if nothing else. Okay, in fact I'm going to use my little diamond plate, feel for the angle. That's starting to look convincing. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So put the push rod back in. Find which side of the magnet the circlip had stuck to. Now getting the circlip back in takes a little bit of fiddling. That's it started at the back there. That's it. And push the end back round. There we go. So let's reassemble. So we've got get the wedges lined up. There is this distance piece in the middle which has got a pair of O-rings on it to give a little bit of a friction to it. Actually, I'm going to do one more thing, I think. These anodized surfaces seem to be a bit too slick to get the joint to go tight. So I'm just going to take the anodizing off with the diamond. And actually the way the anodizing's coming off, I don't think they were immensely flat in the first place. Okay, that's most of it off that one. Probably going to do this one the other way. Right, let's start again. Now it makes a difference which way around you assemble this this bolt section, because this end remains stationary and the knob turns with it. So we really want the bottom end to be the stationary end. Just got to get the push rod lined up, and I want the push rod to be the other way over. There we go. Put the wedge in, and I'm going to put the washer back in this time. Let's see how it works with that. Getting it, trying to get it over the O-ring. There we go. Right, now there was a spring in here, but I didn't like the way it kept this centre joint too stiff, so I'm leaving this out for the moment. So put the spacer on and the knob. Oh, and one last thing that I've found with the genuine NOGA, that there's actually a thrust bearing in here, which, you know, this isn't a proper thrust arrangement, so I might try finding a little rolling element thrust bearing I can put in there later on. Anyway, let's zoom out and I think we'll go and get the tripod. Okay, so it's our freshly fettled arm, and if I slacken the hand wheel off, we now have an arm that goes completely floppy, so we could use it to get the end into any kind of position we wanted, and then that's moderately firm. That's nearly as stiff as it was before I reworked it. And if I actually crank this down hard, then that is really quite firm. Certainly that's probably twice as good as when I started, so in total probably 10-15 minutes work. And yeah, taking the anodizing off that centre joint has made that a lot stiffer. And this top end's really tight, the bottom end not at all bad. Very pleased with that.